which leads to us talking about our second victim and fellow clone, Madelyne Pryor. And oh boy, buckle up, cause this one is even weirder. Yes, even more than the memory goo. Like before, Madelyne's life began with death. This time, the death of Jean Grey. In the end of the legendary X-Men storyline, the Dark Phoenix saga, Jean Grey sacrificed herself to save both her team and the whole universe from the cosmic entity possessing her, called the Phoenix Force. The loss was devastating to everyone, but especially hit hard with Jean's longtime love interest, Scott Summers. After her funeral, Scott would leave the X-Men for some time, which is for the best. Just ask Luke Cage. Eventually, Scott would start to move on, but things changed when he runs into a woman who'd look so much like his lost love, Madelyne Pryor. And not long after, the two would fall in love, get married, and even have a child together, their son Nathaniel. Unfortunately, this wouldn't last, as once Scott found out Jean was alive, he straight up left his family with no explanation. No, really, he just abandoned his family. And people wonder why most fans think Scott Summers deserve a 24/7 ass whooping. To make things worse, Madelyne and her son were attacked by a mutant group called the Marauders, kidnapping her son and leaving her for dead. Thinking Nathan is dead and her marriage pretty much burnt to the ground, Madelyne was left devastated, but with the help of Scott's brother Alex Summers, aka the Mutant Havoc, helped her recover, and another romance was formed, only for her and Havoc's X-Men team to die a noble sacrifice, but then quickly get resurrected by a cosmic being, where they then secretly operate in Australia for a while, with Madelyne being the team's coordinator. Yes, really, and now, here's when things get crazier. Yes, that was not the craziest. Now, originally, Madelyne Pryor wasn't supposed to be a clone of Jean. She didn't even have mutant powers. Chris Claremont wanted her to be an example of the theory that everyone on Earth had a double. But, once again, editorial fought back on the concept, and it was later retconned that Madelyne was a clone created by the supervillain Mr. Sinister, who believed that Scott and Jean could create the ultimate mutant. But she wasn't perfect. As I said before, she didn't have Jean's powers, so Sinister abandoned her and the plan. At least until the Phoenix Force returned, this time going for Madelyne, as it saw her as the next best thing, which reignited the plan and led to him sending the Marauders to kidnap her son. But more on that in a bit. As time went on, Madelyne grew jealous of Jean, and for good reason, hating her ex-husband. This eventually drew the attention of the demon named Sim, who tempted her to succumb to her darker nature and hatred, and made a pact granting her new demonic powers and becoming the Goblin Queen. These powers awakened her mutant abilities, but also enhancing them, granting her abilities that Jean didn't have, like teleportation and reality warping, to the point where she could turn people into mindless monsters. This would lead to the storyline Inferno, where Sim and another demon named Naster try to raise the demon army of Limbo, which in here is not the same as the Catholic's depiction of Limbo, having it in Purgatory be separate realms. Instead, just have Limbo as a demonic realm adjacent to Hell. All while Mr. Sinister proceeds with his plan with Nathan, ending with the baby being saved and Madelyne fighting Jean, leading to her death. But like Ben, her death didn't stick, and would return several times. First, where she tried to reconnect with her son, who by this point became the time-traveling hero Cable, with the help of the mutant group of the Hellfire Club. Then again, a few years later, once again with the help of the Hellfire Club, earned her the title, the Red Queen. Whoa! Yeah, that was her first costume as the Red Queen. She did get another one. I know the artist Greg Land often traces adult content for his work, but come on, man. However, that didn't last either, and her next resurrection would come in the form of the Sisterhood of Mutants, though she stayed underground until the Krakoa era and got killed again, though not lasting too long, as her ex-lover Havoc would help bring her back, as he saw her more as a victim of trauma than a villain, despite the leaders of the nation saying otherwise. Back at Limbo, the current ruler, Elena Rasputin, sister of Colossus and the superhero named Magic, wanting to retire, and offers the title to Madelyne. Now, you're probably thinking that's a horrible idea since she's become so emotionally unstable that it would only lead to disaster, but apparently that's what Elena wanted. Her argument that someone normal would crack under the pressure easily, and that a damaged soul is more fit. And it turns out she's not wrong, as once she became Queen of Limbo, she saw it as a fresh start and was doing a good job at it. She no longer felt the burden of those who brought her pain and almost felt whole. Almost. As there was a part of her still missing, and Ben would help her regain it. What was missing? Well, we'll discuss that next time as we cover Spider-Man, X-Men, Dark Web. Let me know in the comments what your thoughts are on Ben and Madelyne Pryor. Like, share, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. Later.